What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Jack Sonic, Eat Vegetables NYC, and today I'm taking y'all on a field trip to Humble Hill Farm. Right here is my good friend Rick from Humble Hill. He's gonna show you around the place. What's up, Rick?
What's up? Everything all right, you know?
Yeah.
Just cruising through fall, trying to get ready for winter.
Eat vegetables.
We're pretty much a vegetable farm, and then we do some fruits and herbs. We're kind of small scale, but we're slowly scaling up. I was saying I just have a few like late fall, early winter greens in here. Bok choy, some mustards, and then there's a little bit of leeks left in there, some sorrel. I had grown squash, beans, onions were all here, and garlic was all here. I kind of do them in a rotation. But this field is tricky because I learned, you know, how quickly soil can go from good to not so good. Because that back half of this plot is real clayey. It was just something to learn, you know, that it can change, you know, just within a few feet, the quality of the soil. Yes, I'm just, you know, flipped this from tomatoes and peppers. Got all them out and just planted in like cilantro, arugula, got lettuce and kale behind you. And then this is what's left of the turmeric and little ginger, and there's a little bit of ginger there at that far end. Probably be done harvesting that this week. And ground cherries all in there on the left. Still picking those, but they'll be done pretty soon. But yeah, we also, you know, overwinter things in here like scallions, spinach, things like that. Keep them going all winter with no heat or anything like that. Just cover, you know, use that white remay there to cover them when it gets real cold. So it's pretty amazing. You can, you know, grow stuff right through the winter. A lot of people don't realize that. They're surprised, you know. Like, what do you do in the winter?
Yeah.
Like, we do still grow stuff, you know, try to take it to market. That's our little irrigation pond. Pump sand filter. Some people call it fertigation, you know, because, like, you get some other stuff out of the water, you know, that's good for the plants, too.
Yeah.
At first, I was a little concerned, you know, that it might spread algae or something like that, but it hasn't been a problem at all. Plants seem to be happy with the water. You know. This field is kind of a big challenge. It taught me a lot about drainage and how important drainage is because it does not drain very well. It's, I think, what they call gravelly loam. So the loam part is nice, but the gravel part is not so nice. And if you see that hillside up there, the water kind of drains down the hill and then kind of bubbles up in some of these places. So I've really only been able to grow like carrots and potatoes and squash pretty much back here, but those things do well, and the squash needs a lot of space, so they can have a lot of space. That whole side over there was all squash. There's still some in there that I have to check on and pick. And then these are blackberries and blueberries. The blackberries did really good this year. The blueberries don't really like the wetness. They call it wet feet. You know, when they get too wet, so they're not so happy. But this year the blackberries did really good, right?
Yeah, couldn't really keep up with them that great, you know. We need to make a product with them or do something because it's challenging. The fresh eating market berry thing is like, you really got to be on that. You got to have a crew. So
Sure.
yeah, so
The
like
harvest window for it
is
is like
the way
really
to go,
small.
jam. But they're thornless, which is nice, you know. You can really get in there and not get all scratched up.
You want to come in there and check? There's some squash I was supposed to look for in here as long as we're here.
Yeah. Check it out.
Oh, this is the best draining field. It's really, you know, drains not too fast, not too slow. But if you get a lot of heavy rain, you can come out here the next day and still work it. And it's my longest beds too. They're like 250 feet long, so you can get like a lot of yield. This is where I mostly do potatoes and garlic. And this year I did carrots, and this whole row was winter squash and watermelon, because they need a lot of room, you know, to run. So they took up that almost that whole side of the garden there. Yeah, and the fencing was like a big investment, you know, but there's no maintenance required on it, is what I like about it. People say get a dog or like this or that, but you got to take care of the dog and, you know, feed him all the time and take him to the vet and all that. But once you set up this fence, you know, we set it up about 5-6 years ago. I haven't had to do anything to it, you know, just maintenance free, which is great. We've had these going for about 5 years now. And I was just saying that they're not doing so good lately. Like some of them aren't coming back and some of the hives aren't making it. We used to have 12 and now we're down to 4. And what's in there, I think we're going to have to leave, you know, for them to survive over the winter. You know, we might be able to take a few pounds for ourselves, but nothing to market this year. So yeah, it's getting harder and harder with the bees.
What made you start keeping bees?
Well, you know, first of all, they have pollinators around because we got all the apples and fruits, you know, and things like that that need pollination. But also, I love honey, you know, and the idea that it never spoils. You know, they found it like in the pyramids in Egypt. So yeah, it'll never go bad. So yeah, I kind of like that about it also.
What do we got here?
We got some of the late fall winter greens. Got lettuce, puntarelle, which is in chicory family. Radicchio, escarole, collards, and kale. In the spring, this is where I start everything too. The whole thing's full of starts. This is where we cure the garlic. After we harvest, we'll hang it all up here. And this whole thing was full, but this is what we have left right now to clean and sort and grade and get ready to plant again. Well, this is the first field when we first moved here, so it's been worked 19 years now. So the tilth is really nice in the beds. It's on the hillside, so it kind of naturally evolved into almost like terraces. You know, I have like permanent beds with a lot of space in between for equipment to go up and down. And also when there isn't crops in the plots, I mow. It's a lot of clover and grass kind of mix in here, and I mow that all into the beds for, you know, green manure and add in organic matter. These are the winter carrots, some of them, and beets.
What else you got going on over here?
There's lettuce over there. There's some tulsi. I just did like one row of arugula, spinach, and radishes. Salad mix over there. Right now I'm harvesting Brussels sprouts from down here. We can go down there and see if you want to see them closer. Brussels sprouts, parsnips are over there, and then there's more beans that I'm really happy for this weather break because I think this weekend I'm going to be able to pick beans. Yeah.
Shelling or?
No, string bean.
String.
Yeah, one last time for them.
Nice.
And more blackberries. They do pretty good too. And where these carrots was all garlic. That's kind of my rotation, you know. As soon as I get the garlic out in end of July, I just work the field back again and then put carrots in there so I can get 2 crops. You know, add compost in between. And yeah, get 2 crops out of one bed in the year. So yeah, it was kind of interesting because I didn't really know anything about farming, but it evolved kind of like terraces, and that helps the drainage be good too. Like it doesn't really get flooded. You know, like if you tilled up this whole hillside, then when you got terrible rains, it would just you know, wash everything down. You get a lot of erosion, so we managed to avoid that. But yeah, these are like really, you can tell the difference in from working them for so many years. Like everything I grow in these beds does really, really well. And that's what I'm working over next door to try to get those to be as good as these, you know.
It's been so wonderful seeing your farm and, you know, getting to talk to you and hear your story. Thank you so much. It's great to see you. Keep up the wonderful work, man.
You too.
It's great to be out here. All right,
Eat
thanks.
Veg NYC.
Yeah, eat
Big up
vegetables, man.
every time. Peace.
Every time, Humble Hill.